right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Irrational Confidence Podcast. We're talking college football and we're recapping week number 11, an amazing week in college football. But my co-host, the man who is pulling his own Ferris Bueller's Day Off there in Raleigh, North Carolina, celebrating a Wolfpack party. My co-host, Fresh. Fresh, how you doing, buddy?
Perhaps I'm doing great. It was a fun time up in Raleigh. Partied it up. Did a bunch of breweries. It was a great time. Also, when the dogs win big on Saturday night, it made it even better. But we're ready for week 12.
Yeah. So let's roll right into it here, Fresh. Let's go offensive player of the week. Who you got, man? There's a lot of
I
great
mean,
individual performances.
there were some serious points being put up all week, but Cody Schrader, what he did, because we were kind of like, all right, which Missouri team's going to show up? Are they going to rebound? And he led the Tigers. You run for 200, you got a touchdown, 116 receiving on 6 receptions, just absolutely destroyed Tennessee.
Right.
Made a big statement for Missouri, but that was huge in him getting after it and being a real dual threat.
Yeah, absolutely. I took a long, hard look at Corey Schrader for this game. I thought about this, but I had to go give it to Dylan Gabriel this weekend. Oklahoma's been reeling. They went in and just boat raced a really good West Virginia team. They're not the best West Virginia team, but they're very, very good. 5 touchdowns on the day, 423 yards for him. I also took a quick look over. I was kind of hanging out in the Big 12 this weekend for my offensive players of the week. RJ Harvey for the UCF Knights, being local here. That kid, 24 carries, 206, couple of scores there. I think he had 3 of them to really just put the boots to Oklahoma State. So 2 big wins there in the Big 12 for my offensive player of the week.
I mean, that was an absolutely shocking beatdown. The way Oklahoma State been playing,
Right.
UCF Plumlee comes back to get the running game going. They just jumped them, and they did not let go. That was impressive by the Knights.
Who'd you have for your defensive player of the week, Fresh?
Well, it's funny we're talking about that game. I actually went with Damar Henderson. Damar Henderson from UCF, 4 tackles and 2 picks in that ball game, really to shut it down. Set up, the Knights for success. The way he was able to lock down the Oklahoma State passing and prevent any kind of comeback was pretty impressive.
Yeah. You know me, I like to go a little outside the box for my defensive players of the week. I'm going to the Troy Trojans, my man. Javion Solomon having an absolute day on it, was an absolute dog. This guy was amazing in this game. Linebacker had 8 tackles, 4 sacks, was an absolute dominant wrecking ball as the Troy Trojans. Take a look at Troy, 8-2 on the year, putting the boots to UL Monroe. Awesome game for them. Troy's 8-2, man. Shocking.
Quietly stacking wins down there in Troy, Alabama.
Yeah,
Looking to defend the title.
absolutely. All right, best game of the weekend. I got mine.
It was actually right down the road from where I was hanging out this past weekend up in Chapel Hill. Duke, Carolina. Usually it's always a legendary basketball showdown, but the way they went at it in football, obviously Duke playing without Riley Leonard, and the way they were able to show up, get points, offense made plays, just not enough to in the end. Carolina win 47-45 in double overtime, but the energy, the excitement, was homecoming there for the Tar Heels, and they held on and got it done, and it kept their season going. Like there was a chance if they had lost that game, obviously it would have really been a bottomed out, but 2 teams showed up and they played a heck of a football game. It was a lot of fun. Late. I think it even ended like 12:01, 12:02 Eastern time. It was a heck of a night game.
Yeah, I was kind of following that game along, and Fresh, you'd steal my same game that I wanted to have for game of the week. So I'll go a little bit somewhere else, and I'll give it over to Colorado, Arizona. I'll throw them a bone there. And the reason why I'll throw them a bone is because Arizona have an amazing year. No one at the beginning of the season really predicted them to go 7-3 right now after 10 games, 5-2 in the Pac-12. It could all unravel for them. They lose to Colorado this past weekend. It could have just all gone downhill. The train would have been off the tracks. The ponies would have been off the caravan. I don't know what other analogy I would have used for losing to Colorado there. But they didn't. They hung tough in that game, get a big 10 points in the fourth quarter to pull off that huge W there. Arizona looking very impressive. Something to build on going into 24.
I mean, you could quietly right now give maybe Jed Fish National Coach of the Year for what he's done there. I mean, he's there. He has to be in consideration. He probably won't
Right.
win it, but he has to be in consideration because he's done a heck of a job with a bunch of ranked wins, stacking it together. They're building something there in Tucson.
Right. Fresh. who's your dud of the week? I got two that I would give them to. So I'll probably go, if you go one, I'll go the other.
Well, dud of the week is kind of, I'm looking at more of a national landscape. We got 2 weeks left in the regular season, and only 58 teams are bowl eligible out of an 82 potential spots. We've got 24 open potential bowl spots right now. There's a lot of putrid records, teams not fulfilling it, a lot of letdowns, a lot of choking. I mean, we thought early on Colorado and schools like that, they were having great starts, and they came back to earth real hard. But right now, we've got to fill spots, and it probably is going to happen. James Madison, obviously, Jacksonville State are going to get the benefit, and they're going to get into bowl games. So we're going to a bunch of 5-7 football teams trying to fill bowl spots just because they have bowl ties and they got to put somebody somewhere. It's bad. It's a real bad look, and there's a serious separation between really good football teams and average to below average terrible football teams right now. So I'm looking at all you teams right there who are not bowl eligible. You guys got to find something. This is pretty bad.
Fresh, see, I didn't think that as bad as it was, and I'm not really harping on them. Why? Because it gets James Madison into a bowl. If
It
teams
does.
aren't that bad, James Madison stays home. And guys, the most important thing, this James Madison team, this is a ridiculously good football team. I am excited for James Madison. I really hope that they get like some big time bowl now. That they're going to
Oh,
be,
you have to.
because they'd be one of the first teams selected. That's the thing. Like, because if there is an opening in the bowls, all of a sudden James Madison and what's the other school again?
Jacksonville State.
Jacksonville State, yeah. They become one of the top, they can be one of the first choices. So all of those bowls that want like a choice, what a great story it would be if I was like, I don't know, maybe like the Outback Bowl over in Tampa or something like that. Like a good sized bowl, but not like one of my top tier ones, and say, you know, screw it, I'll give James Madison a chance. So, right, Fresh, we need to have some better football being played, and I'll go into it there in a second. But come on, like James Madison needs to be bowling this December.
Yeah, I mean, those are the two big winners of the whole situation. I mean, 5-7 records. We're rewarding mediocrity. It's like getting a participation trophy, but you got to fill the bowl tie-ins, and this kind of leads to my other argument. There's way too many bowl games, and this is where the problem comes into play.
That's true.
We can get into we can dive into that a little bit more when we get to bowl season, but that's where my duds of the week are. Just we should be having bowl eligible teams locked in by now.
Right. So, Fresh, my dud of the week, I almost went to Camp Randall Stadium, Wisconsin. That was ugly.
Getting stomped by Northwestern. Whew.
At home with Tanner Mordecai coming back. I almost went there, but I have to give it to Oklahoma State because Oklahoma State, you were ranked number 15 in the entire country, and you get boat raced, and I mean destroyed by UCF in this game. Mike Gundy, you have a huge win versus Oklahoma last week in Bedlam, and then you just, you know, bend over and just kind of
Bleep
like,
the bed. Bleep the
eh,
bed.
listen, I don't even know. This is like a dog bleep of the bed. So
Yeah,
something
it
that
was
just
pretty.
gets you angry. But
It's like in Jurassic Park when they walk up to the big pile.
yep, that's exactly what it is. They're fresh. So yeah, I got Oklahoma State as my real, like, they're the dud of the week for me. So all right, Fresh. Heisman vote time. Who's your Heisman?
I think Jordan Travis is starting to close the gap, but I think still Michael Penix Jr. is right there. He's done enough to keep himself up there, and but the two of them I think are much closer than the experts would say. But Penix Jr. is just edging out Jordan Travis a little bit, but they are I think neck and neck, and we're going to see over the next 3 weeks, and it actually might even come down to championship weekend if Washington how they play, if they win or not, and Penix Jr. can lock it down. With the two of them are right there. I think Penix Jr. is just a little ahead of Jordan Travis. Both are playing really well.
Yeah, Fresh. I gotta start asking myself the question, like, what is the purpose of the Heisman? Is it college football's best football player, or is it just another quarterback award? And if it's another quarterback award, that's fine. I'm cool with that. Like, doesn't bother me too much. I've been on the Penix Jr. train since week one. Penix Jr. right now is my Heisman vote. Jaden Daniels had a day. Like, look at what he did against Florida. I think he's got like a little bit coming up here. But we got to start talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. too. Like, Harrison Jr. is balling out. I try not to be too biased towards him. I really love the kid. I think he's a great football player. But man, that kid is just ridiculous. you know, take a look at what he's been doing for this year. Averaging over 1,000 yards receiving right now, 18 yards a catch there, 12 touchdowns. Kid's amazing, but I'm going to still give it to Penix Jr.
If you had, all right, right now, who's your four highest? Who would be the four guys you go to the ceremony right now? Not
I,
your winner, but who would be your four guys going to the ceremony?
Penix, Harrison Jr. I got to throw Bo Nix some love. I mean, Bo Nix, what he's doing with 29 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Bo Nix deserves some credit, and then I'd probably say Jaden Daniels. I hate to give it all to there. Like, there's a part of me that wants to get like funky like a monkey, baby, and just do something like completely out of the box and give someone like Jalen Green from James Madison, who's got like 15 and a half sacks on the year, someone like that. Um, that'd be awesome to kind of give him a little bit of a nod. Like, I would want to do something along those lines, but yeah, that would probably be my four right there off the top of my head.
I think I would take Travis, Jaden Daniels, Penix Jr. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. would be the fourth. Crazy things could happen. Maybe Ollie Gordon gets, the third gets
Ooh,
a nod there. It's like a dark horse, but I think that's going to be your core four right there up top.
yeah, and don't forget like Amarion Hampton, who's burst onto the scene this year, who was huge. I mean, making play after play like on this past Saturday against Duke. He deserves some love, man. That kid was one of the big reasons they won that football game in double overtime.
Yep, definitely. Now, one thing I'm going to say, because we've been talking studs and duds, is Jimbo Fisher a dud or a stud this week? Because he's got fired, but he's going to get paid $76 million to go away. Like, I don't know. Is it a stud or dud?
That's a stud, man. I don't care. Get the man, pay that man his money. You take a
Bring me my money. Bring
yes.
me my money.
It's the same thing from the movie Rounders. It's a the bring the man his money, and
Just bring
he
it to me
beat
right
me
now.
fair and square. He beat you, Texas A&M. He beat you. You lost in that game of poker right there. I get it. You're gonna say, oh well, we are stuck in neutral and blah 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 blah. The dude's gonna get paid $77 million in a buyout. You had to. It is what the highest buyout by like 3 times. Gus
Mm-hmm.
Malzahn, who got fired from Auburn, it had the record for the highest buyout, I believe, prior to this.
Yeah, and that
And
was in the 40 somethings.
yes, and they're just, juice. Yeah, listen, Jimbo, I got 77 million tissues that will make all of that pain go away from being fired from Texas A&M. And some college is going to give him an our shot. Like,
Oh, he'll go be an analyst for Nick Saban for 2 years and then go get paid somewhere else.
yeah. Like, look, if Hugh Freeze can come back to the SEC, Jimbo, you can get our shot at this thing.
Oh yeah, if Petrino can come back too, you're
Right.
gonna be okay.
All right. All right, Fresh. Let's just go here real quick. The playoff committee is going to be putting their information out here on Tuesday. Who you got?
Well, we'll start from 10. I'll go all up to 1. So my number 10 team in the country is Missouri. I think they really showed up and played real well against 10. They played good against Georgia, and the way they went out and destroyed Tennessee the week after got me number 10. Louisville number 9, Alabama 8, Texas 7 just because they beat Alabama, Oregon 6, Washington 5. The only reason I still have Washington ahead of Oregon is because obviously they beat them head to head. Fourth is Florida State. Third is Michigan. Second is Ohio State. And the Dogs the past couple of weeks have just been putting up, very, very strong efforts. And I think that they back to number 1 seed.
Yeah, it's a toss up here in that top 4 there. I'm gonna pretty much go like Oregon State though. I can't forget about what Oregon State's kind of doing out there as well. They're still having a great season. I really want to put them in my top 10 there. I know that they're number 10 in the AP poll. Missouri does deserve a lot of credit. That win is going to look really, really good in the eyes of the committee over Tennessee. Tennessee's going to drop like a rock in the middle of an ocean.
I
Like,
have them at 20. I have Tennessee at 25, and that's barely holding on.
yeah, I would be shocked to see if the committee keeps them into the top 25 because that just was an absolute embarrassment. I would say I would go Oregon State 10. I would put Missouri at number 9. I don't have Louisville in my top 10. As much as they're only a one-loss team, and I do put that, then it's the same reason why like Tulane or James Madison or Toledo aren't in my top 10. I'll go Alabama at 8, Texas at 7. This is where it gets really tough for me, is the top 6. Because I'm with you, Fresh, and I guess I got to put Oregon at 6, Washington at 5, just because of head-to-head matchups there. I also am tempted to leave Michigan out of the top 5 right now. They looked good against Penn State, and that defense has just been lights out. But that's their first ranked win on the
You could actually
season.
say they're Washington 1-0. That's their first
Yeah,
win of the year.
right. So I would be tempted to leave them out of the top 4 right now and do that. Florida State, I got in at number 4. I'll leave the Wolverines in the top 4. I would say Wolverines in at 4, Florida State 3, and I'll go 1, 2, Ohio State, Georgia, and I'll let you guys coin flip which one's 1, which one's 2. I think right now their resumes are almost similar. You can make an argument for both ones. They both have ranked wins on their schedule. They both have impressive showings on their schedule. So I'll let people go 1, 2.
Not gonna lie though, I cannot wait for November 25th, 12 noon to 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, and what's going to go down in Ann Arbor, because that is going to be, with all the stuff building and with the implications right there, that's going to be a heck of a showdown.
Well, I got something else I wanted to throw here fresh at you. How crazy would this be? Fresh, their original playoff field was Alabama at 1, Florida State was at 2, Oregon at 3, and Ohio State at 4. There is a very real possibility that they have the exact same playoff field on the first year of the group of 4 and the last year group 4. If I'm the committee and this is happening, and I have like a small sense of humor here, and I'm able to rank the teams in the opposite order as the first playoff, I think that would actually be amusing to me.
I mean, Florida State, Oregon out there in the Rose Bowl again, that would also be pretty fun. Actually, no, it would be Sugar Bowl and Rose Bowl, the same matchups too.
Right.
That would be pretty impressive.
Yeah. I
But
saw that the
hey,
other
crazy
day.
things happen, man. Crazy
I,
things happen.
I saw that the other day, and I was saying to my dad, I go, there is a legit possibility. I'm not saying it's a great possibility. I'm saying there is a legit possibility we could have the exact same field of the first year of 4 and as the last year of 4. Style
Hey,
you
crazy things happen, man.
right.
Crazy things happen.
But would you be like, oh, that's insane? I mean, granted, yeah, it'd be kind of weird, but like, it's not unreal. Like, you're not looking going, the odds of this happening are absolutely astronomical.
Well, you kind of look at it right here. If Oregon plays Washington in the Pac-12 title, and Washington's undefeated, Oregon goes in there, beats them, and beats them pretty significantly.
Right.
That's going to impress.
They're in.
That's going to impress the committee. Florida State, you're going to be undefeated. You're going to play Louisville. If they have a slow outing, but they struggle and win, that might actually interest the committee. And then that also phase in winner of Michigan, Ohio State. If they win, obviously, I think they're going to win the Big Ten regardless in the title game. But
Right.
do you take the loser of that game and sort of bring them down, especially if it was Michigan who has a lesser schedule, and then take the SEC champion that has one loss? That could be a one loss or an undefeated Georgia, but there's a chance for at least, no matter what, 3 of those 4 teams definitely getting in.
Yeah. And that's the crazy thing that's going to happen. But, Fresh, before we even get there, we got 2 more weeks of regular season football coming into play. Oh, it's going to be a great one. And we're going to get ready to go for Thanksgiving weekend and rivalry week. So before you guys head out of here, hit that subscribe button. Get notified every single time we drop a video, because you guys are not going to want to miss what we got going on. Tuesday night, huge rivalry game. It's the rivalry of I-75, separated by 10 miles. Toledo is going to boat race Bowling
Oh, yeah.
Green Falcons there, but
Rockets are going to shoot down the Falcons.
they're big time in this one. But Fresh, it's going to be a great one. So make sure you guys visit spinnablesports.com because the Irrational Confidence podcast is part of Spinnable Sports. So go to spinnablesports.com, hit that notification bell, get notified every single time we drop a new video, and like, subscribe wherever you get your podcast from. Leave us that 5-star review because Fresh and I, we're those 5-star prospects. Hey, my throat's feeling a little bit better. I can do this a little bit faster. And I'll still let Fresh sign it off for all of us, though, because you guys love that sign off.
Hey, buckle up, everybody. It's been a great week 11. Now we're on to week 12. Enjoy it. Big things coming. Tune in for the next episode. Go Dogs, and bye, y'all.